I am the president of the Rochester Arts Center Board of Directors, and on behalf of the board and the Arts Center staff, we thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you had an opportunity to walk the galleries during our social hour, and if not, we will keep the galleries open after our meeting here, and we do have a musical performance that'll follow our formal meeting this evening. So at this time, I would like to bring our annual meeting of the members to order. Just for everyone's awareness, this meeting is being recorded for those who might not be able to attend with us tonight. All right, please note that our agenda tonight will include a review and vote on our previous annual meeting minutes, which were made available via QR code and also available at the reception desk when you entered. Our other agenda topics tonight will cover an introduction of the Arts Center staff, our director's report, our treasurer will report on the financial position of the Arts Center. We'll share an update on board membership and then close with a brief Q&A. All right, dispensing with any other formalities, we'll now start to the review of the minutes from our previous annual meeting. This meeting was held in July of 2021. And to briefly summarize the highlights from those minutes, the minutes reflected that our board treasurer shared an update on actions taken by the Arts Center for financial stabilization during that initial year of the pandemic, stating that the organization was on solid financial ground with optimism for the future. Our director's report highlighted outreach and programming activities that were restarting as we progressed through the pandemic, and also included a presentation from our curator on the planned exhibition schedule for 2021-22. At that meeting, our outgoing board members were recognized and gratitude was expressed to the City of Rochester, community members, and artists for their support for and participation with the Arts Center's mission. At this time, I'd like to ask if there are any corrections or amendments that should be made to the July 2021 minutes. All right, hearing none, I make a motion that we vote to approve the minutes of the Arts Center's July 2021 annual meeting.
Second.
Paul, thank you for seconding. All right, all in favor of approving those minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed, say nay. All right, the minutes are approved. All right, business complete. I will now share, what I'd like to do is share a brief update on the current state of our ongoing strategic planning. So our board meets monthly with Pam Hugdahl, our executive director, and this past March, we decided to take some extra time together to hold a retreat and identify key strategic goals that we should be working together on to further the Arts Center's mission. And I wanted to share a bit about our process where we gathered inputs for this planning. We reviewed feedback that we received regularly from visitors. We held an input session with staff. We also reviewed the Arts Center's founding statements and discussed our stated vision and mission. We reflected on the needs of the communities that we serve, our identity and sustainability as a cultural cornerstone for contemporary art in this region, and our values as an organization. And so to drive forward on our vision, and our vision being to be a cultural center for innovation and creativity through contemporary art, we identified 4 goal areas to work on together. So one, community engagement. So the first goal area being community engagement and collaboration to build strong and enduring relationships. 2, continued development of an active and diverse board. 3, advancement in fundraising to ensure a sustainable future for the Arts Center. And 4, optimization and activation of our beautiful space, which I think you may have seen some great examples of through Zoe's tour this evening of the galleries, and the way that we're activating this amazing space with a strong schedule of various artists and exhibitions throughout the space. So with these strategic goals, these are now serving as our map They're helping focus our efforts, informing our collective decision-making, and helping us translate our intentions into action with the Art Center. So in both our director's report that you'll hear from Pam and our update from our treasurer, you'll hear about the activities and the tactics that are the implementation of these key strategic goal areas. And so at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Pam and invite her to share with us. Pam is our executive director. She joined us in the Rochester Art Center in June of 2020, and I really enjoy our collaboration, and I look forward to what you have to share with the group tonight, Pam.
It is a total coincidence that we're matching tonight. So great minds think alike, I guess. All right. So first I would like to introduce our staff. So my name is Pamela Hugdahl. I'm the executive director of the Rochester Art Center, and it's been an honor to work here with our board and staff through the pandemic and to see our programs and exhibitions serve the community for the past 2.5 years. Kellyanne Morrison in the back there is our advancement coordinator. She wears many hats, and so I requested that she wear her many hats pin from you, Queen, tonight. And I really appreciate that she shares all that the Art Center is doing with enthusiasm. When you get those emails every week, those are crafted by Callie. Sheldon Elkire joined our staff in August as donor relations coordinator. Back there. Zoe Janelle, our curator, takes great initiative to bring new artists and ideas to Rochester. Caitlin Walsh, right next to Zoe, our gallery shop administrator, keeps us organized at the front of house, but is also helping with many aspects behind the scenes. Pollinatra Korn is at our front desk. So you probably all met her as you walked in. She brightly greets our guests most days of the week and is working toward her bachelor's degree in history. Amy Garrettson, right in the middle there, is our education and community outreach coordinator, and she inspires people of all ages to try something new. And Carrie Robinson Cannon, right here in front, our program coordinator, masterfully restarted our docent program and our weekly public tours. Which leads me to our docents, who have spent countless volunteer hours learning about the Art Center so they can introduce others to the wide range of exhibitions and programs we offer. Docents, if you're here, please stand. Heather Hanft, way in the back. Savannah Howe, I don't think she's here tonight. Michelle McCautry is also not here tonight. Lynn Torsher, she's in the spotlight. Pat Dunn Walker is not here, but she also helped curate Climate Change, the exhibition upstairs. So a lot of time put in lately. Margaret Woodlinski, up next to Lynn. And also not here, Chris Delisle. So really appreciate all of the time you all have put into training as docents and now offering tours. So now I'm going to go off script, which hopefully won't be a bad thing. Share my director's report. Every year I like to bring up our founding principles. Newton Holland here, his bust is in the front hall. Many people have always had lamented to me when I first started, where is Newton's bust? So he is on view and with us. And I think there's a lot of really great things that from this statement that is from our Articles of Incorporation. But what stands out to me is that we're here to bring art to the daily lives, to join with the schools, the library, community groups, and to make Rochester a cultural center worthy of our scientific achievement. All right, so just a brief update on where we're at with programs and exhibitions. So again, with Carrie's guidance, we now have guided tours on Saturdays and Sundays at 1 p.m. And we're finding that that routine is really making a difference. People are coming in, they're, whether they're dropping in or they're coming specifically for the tour, we're getting a lot of traction from it and really positive outcomes. So it's really great to have those restarted. And Carrie spent most of her Saturdays here this summer making sure that that was off to a great start. Open Studio is another program that we started. Amy Garrettson spearheaded last spring, and we gave it a test run with beadworking, and now we've transformed it to be a regular program on Fridays and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So you can drop in with your family, or just randomly out for a stroll and you need something to do. All ages, and there's prepared activities. If you want to bring your own activity, you've got beadworking you're doing or knitting, it's a communal space, a social space that you can do those projects in. So that's again also been, we restarted it the weekend of Halloween, and it's been great reception right away. So just love walking by the studio on a Friday or a Saturday, and there'll be like families in there for hours. So good job, Amy. Really excited about our collaboration with Art for Trails. We've been supportive and collaborative with them since they started in 2016. Callie, our Many Hats, has been maintaining their webpage, and so this year we're excited that we've been working all year on joining forces with them formally, and we'll be adopting Art for Trails in 2023. So keep watching for that, and we're so appreciative of Mary Ellen for all of her support and guidance of Art for Trails through all the years. If you're not aware, we have a new sculpture by Christopher Tiffany that was dedicated to Mary Ellen on her back terrace. So a little hard to see in the dark, but it's beautiful. So thank you so much for your support.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. And oh shoot, I have a typo in here. Sorry, Amy. 51 years. Total Arts Day Camp is 51 years this year, but it'll be 52 next year. So really excited to be able to have a program that has that much history. And I know a lot of people in this room have had their kids go through Total Arts Day Camp. It's been a great experience for so many families, and a lot of them have stayed involved with the Art Center. So really happy to be able to keep growing that program that Juliana Frio started. I'm going to go back one more time. On that note, related note, we also will be restarting, bringing back Winter Arts Day Camp on December 28th and 29th. And we're looking forward to having Rachel Abramovich and Chris Delisle leading those two classes for those 2 days. So, 4 days.
It's the 4th year
It's
of that.
It's the 4th year, thank you. So really great camp opportunity this winter. All right, so exhibitions. Just really excited about all the exhibitions that we have on view right now, and that we're able to activate so many of the spaces around the building. That has been a goal of mine since I started, and with Zoe's support in particular, wherever she went, I think she had to hit the road. Sorry, I shouldn't have called her out. She has done an incredible job of activating our exhibition schedule and really seeing it through. So right now we have Melissa Yanello, Wish It Was a Coming Out in our main gallery west. We have Keith Lawrence, Faces of Recovery on the 3rd floor. If you didn't see it, John Molseed wrote a really wonderful review an interview with the artist this week in Post Bulletin. John's right back there, thanks for being here. Just this afternoon, I'd say 20-25 people from Adults and Teen Challenge came in to see the show, so it's definitely making an impact, and we really appreciate his contribution. And then Proto Language by Crystal Isle. It's all over the place right now. Also on the 3rd floor. Walk Back to Your Body is in 3 different locations throughout the building that was curated by Boris Oykerman, who was formerly at the Wiseman Art Museum. So this is a second iteration of this exhibition, but new works, and if you haven't had a chance to experience Alison Hiltner's You've Merely Been Detected installation with 9,000 fiber optics and an EEG reader that responds to your brain activity, I would highly recommend checking that out after this. And then Rochester Looking at Climate Change, like I said, this is a community curated exhibition that Pat Dunn-Walker and Lane Noser mounted in the gallery. So really appreciative of the 28 artists that participated in that, all from the area, and Lane and Pat's support for that show. And then Walk With Us, a really big undertaking by Zoe Chanel and John Sherman for an exhibition that takes place throughout the building, including right here in this room, so, and out on our back patio. So 16 works, really interesting, based on the topic of walking. Looking ahead, right at the beginning of the new year, we're going to be bringing in Nikki Havacost, and excited for her opening reception on January 14th from 2 to 4 p.m. The theme is Having Tea with the Ladies. I'm stumbling on the title, but bring your earthenware mug, have some tea with us. We'll have some nice crumpets or bars. And there's going to be some interactive stitching happening during that reception. And then the Nexus of Wellbeing and Art with Anne Leibovitz. Really excited about what's going to transpire with that. We've been working with the Humanities and Medicine department at Mayo on some different collaborations, bringing in the Stuart Pimsleur Dance and Theater Company for some different ways of processing and moving through trauma. So a lot of different programs that'll come out of having this exhibition here. But the artworks, we're gonna have beautiful draped installation in the grand lobby for about a year, and then installation in the main gallery. So looking forward to all the things that will happen around that. And the opening reception is February 18th. It'll be in the evening. Should be a fantastic event. We hope you can all make it. Some other exhibitions coming up in 2023. Southeast Minnesota High Schools. This is something that we've been doing for a few years, spearheaded by Amy Gerritsen again, and just, you know, the surrounding area schools get to showcase their high school students' work. Piece by Piece, the Minnesota Mosaic Guild will be doing an exhibition next summer. Rochester Public Schools, this will be our second year having them back at the Rochester Art Center. It was such a wonderful exhibition last year and so well received. 700 people showed up the opening day, so really pleased to be working with them and to be showcasing student art at the Art Center. Photogrammetry is another exhibition that Zoe Chanel will be working on and is creating from the ground up. Roshanga New is another artist that she's brought in. And the annual MCAD MFA, we've been really pleased to be working with MCAD, Minneapolis College of Art and Design, for a few years now to feature their one MCAD MFA student. Chronic is a really exciting exhibition that Zoe is building, putting together, featuring up to probably about 15 artists, all working around themes of chronic pain. And then Pete Driesen, a regional artist who will be joining us late next year. Okay, sorry, talking too much. Marketing strategy, this is something that people ask me about a lot, so I wanted to try and just give a little bit of a sense of where we're going with our marketing. Because, I hear a lot of, you need to market more, you need to get yourself out there more. It's like, okay, well, we need to have something to offer before we market it. So we've got the exhibitions, we've got the programs, we've got a beautiful logo now that people recognize as us. And so I think for me, it really starts with the identity, and then proving that we're reliable, and then we start to market. And so we have been doing that and growing and trying to really make sure that people are aware of who we are, how to get here. The wayfinding piece is a big part that I'm working on right now with Experience Rochester, and then we grow. And I think we're seeing those trends coming together. And that is reflected in our attendance as well. So here you can see our attendance from 2016 to present day, and our attendance is far greater than it has been in any year pre-pandemic. So we're on the right track, and I'm really excited to see how we're growing. This dip that you're seeing is to date, so we're expecting higher attendance than we had even last year. And last year's attendance was, we thought, very inflated because we had three night market events happen here that brought in thousands of people at a time. But we don't have those night market events now. Now we have, galleries open, events happening in this space through Mayo and through private rentals, and we're still seeing that growth in attendance. So really excited to see that. Okay, now I have, I think this is my last thing, and then I'll pass it over to John, our treasurer. So, of our some 40-some volunteers who helped at the Art Center over the past year, I want to recognize Natsumi, who really stands out. Natsumi is a senior at John Marshall High School in Rochester and is currently applying to colleges. She's interested in pursuing a degree in art and is interested in art conservation. She has volunteered well over 50 hours since July, and has even recruited friends and family members to help out. Often, Natsumi reaches out to us first, offering to be scheduled more frequently or stay late if she notices an upcoming program or event on our calendar. We've all come to know and appreciate Natsumi as a dependable volunteer, and we breathe a collective sigh of relief when we see her name on the volunteer schedule. She always makes our jobs easier, and we all enjoy working with her. A few recent examples of Natsumi's volunteer work at the Art Center include assisting with Total Arts Day Camp, helping students ages 5 to 11 complete art projects, assisting artist Sarah Nassif with the Walk With Us exhibition with her artist talk and filming the event, creating memorable slideshows to share with families during summer art camp art shows, preparing art bins full of supplies for students to use during summer camp, and showing up on weekends enthusiastically to help with special events and programs. So thank you so much, Natsumi. And Carrie, would you like to do the honors? Yeah, sorry. Thank you so much, Natsumi. All right, and with that, I would like to introduce John Zern, our treasurer.
So, I'm still coming off Thanksgiving. I just feel so grateful to be a member of this organization. It's been 4 years, maybe? Four. I think I've been on the board 4 years. And it just gets better every year. It came at a time when things were shaky. And but they were, you could see the light. You could see things were getting better. And every year, even with COVID, every year, it just got better and better. I love being a member. I love being on the board. One of the benefits of membership is you get to go to other museums. I was in New York recently. I went to the New Museum. I went up to the guy at the counter. He said, I am a member of the Rochester Art Center in Rochester, Minnesota. And he's like, Minnesota? He looked it up and he let me in. So there you go. You have reciprocity at other institutions, and it's a benefit of membership. So the other thing that I'm very thankful about is I get to say that as an institution, the Rochester Art Center is stable. Financially, we're stable. And so we're not awesome, we're not thriving, but we're also not struggling. We're not where we were a while back. And a lot of you who live here remember those days, and you'll see something about our attendance that showed that. So we had some rough times, and I want to give a lot of credit to Tracy Austin, our past board president, and also to Joan Weber, our past treasurer, because they took a lot of that effort on their backs to clean those books up, get things back on track, and really reorganize the institution so that it could return to its thriving state. Because I do think at one time, I mean, this place is beautiful. The exhibitions it puts on are incredible. The programming is fantastic. And even through those shaky times, we were still doing fantastic things. But of course, it takes money to do that, and it takes a lot of effort, and even some belt tightening at times to make sure you can continue doing those things, and then you can grow. So we had to go through some retrenchment and some sort of, I'd say, careful reestablishment of ourselves. And then also I want to give credit to Pam and Rose, because Pam came along and she was, to me, just sort of the right person at the right time for an institution. Of course, she shows up and then we get COVID, so I don't know. But she weathered us through that when we had to do some belt tightening. And it wasn't that easy when you're cutting costs in a few positions and maybe some exhibitions and some programming. A lot of things you saw that Pam was talking about is we're reintroducing things. We have some new things. That's super exciting. But we had to go through this period where there were some cuts that had to be made. And the board, and Rose, and Pam, and the rest of us, we had to make some decisions. And I really want to give the credit to Pam for leading us through this process where I think we are really standing on a space of stability, and now we have that opportunity to grow. And we can talk about some ways that we're going to do that. But just to look at just what does our budget actually look like? So this is our current fiscal 22-23 fiscal year, starts July 1st, ends June 30th of the next year. So this is what this current period looks like and where we're going. Earned revenue, that's just the exhibition admissions, the people putting money in the box when they come in the door. That's pretty substantial, and it has been something that you'll see has continued to grow as we get more exhibitions back up and running, more people are coming to the institution. These things are virtuous cycles that are getting better and better. Sponsorships and general contributions have gone up over the last few years. Sponsorships is an area where we want to grow, but in the last several months, we've seen more and more sponsorships coming in. We have Mass Trucking and Equipment that recently gave us a wonderful sponsorship for, which show is it? Is and Lubbock's show, yeah. And the University of Minnesota Rochester also gave us a sponsorship for Walk Back Your Body. So those sponsorships are lever, one of our many levers that can get us to grow more opportunities for exhibitions and programming. Membership has grown. You'll see a couple of numbers that we'll show in another slide. And city funding, which of course is our cornerstone of keeping the institution running. We are part of the city of Rochester. The city of Rochester as a government sees us as a part of the vibrancy of the city. So that's a very important bolus of cash that we rely on to keep the doors open. The city sees us as an asset, and we have a very symbiotic relationship. We have to acknowledge that for all organizations that the city of Rochester has given money to over the last several years, that's gone down. Why? Of course, because revenues have gone down. COVID has been a big hit to us. We used to have about 190, 192 in our average budget. Now it's down to 170. So we have some things to make up but we're working on that and looking at other avenues to make up for that difference. So one thing about funding is, it's just very capricious from year to year. You just don't necessarily know. Are you going to rely on that grant again next year? McKnight has changed its outlook and some of its priorities for its funding. We have relied on McKnight for several years, as many other arts organizations have, and that's going to change. So we have to be agile. We have to look for other means by which we can draw revenue and create revenue. So city funding has been crucial for us. Grants will always be important to us. Those numbers have grown as well. In-kind funds, that's really city dollars coming into this institution and the one roof of the entire convention center, essentially paying the bills of the lights, the electricity, the things, the utilities, essentially that come through us. We consider that revenue, and we'll look at the next screen, and you look at the bottom, you see in-kind again. Those are our expenses. That's just that money going straight to expenses. Just bottom line, $800,000 for this budget. It used to be, we were spending back 2016 or so over $1 million. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean that our revenue was actually over $1 million. It means that our spending was over $1 million. We were falling behind. So what we're trying to get at in the first place is, let's balance this out. So let's come up with a budget that we can actually live within. And that's where stability comes in. So, as Matt was pointing out a minute ago, reliability. That's what we want to come back to, where we had not been necessarily in 2017, 2018. But reliability says that we're not only putting on excellent exhibitions, great programming, we know how to manage our money. We know how to be good citizens and good members of the community because we know how to manage ourselves wisely. So, a little bit about membership. You can see where it went, but just take note. It wasn't just in COVID. It wasn't just that we had to close our doors. Things were rough before COVID. Memberships were going down. Attendance was going down. So again, we turned it around. The trajectory is up, and it will continue to go up. So our goal, now right now, 21, 22, memberships were at about, what, 240, 250 in the last year. Income, 24,000 approximately. Our goal this year, 30,000. So memberships, 300. And that's doable. That's something we should be going for, and we should continue to go. This is a big city. So, and I think, I don't know, every time I walk in here, this is a cornerstone of this city. This is a fantastic, it looks beautiful, but it's the community that I really love. If you look at our 990s, this is what you'll see. So this is the contributions and grants. This is just all the revenue that comes into the building over the course of time. And you can see again, we took a dip. But last year I said I could be optimistic. I was optimistic because we had some strategies. That's the important thing about optimism. Now I can say, again, we're looking up. We're stable and we're going forward. So that number is going up, and it's going to be up in 22, 23. Grants and contributions. More money coming in means we get to do more things. But we're going to do those things, I think thanks to Pam, thanks to a very earnest board, a very level-headed board, and a board that's growing in members, numbers, diversity, where we get new ideas, new thoughts about how the board should actually care for the institution, that we can keep these numbers growing in a very level-headed way. I'll just put it down. So what do we want to do? As we look forward, how are we going to do more? We're going to do more by getting more money. And we're going to do that in the middle, that nice downward arrow. We still have to account for amortization and depreciation. And that's just something we have to talk to the tax people about every year and say, this is what we're doing to carve down this building depreciation that we have on our books. The upward, so that's just something, you just have to do it. It's just your taxes. Looking upward and making things better, we want more sponsorships. I think that's a place where we had some good sponsorships in the past. Things dropped off a few, 4, 5, 6 years ago. We can get those back. We can do better, and it is getting better. I want to give credit to Brian Dickerson, who he and Zoe curated the homecoming show that many of you saw last January, February, April. He really beat the pavement. And got a lot of organizations in the area to sponsor that exhibit. And the beauty of that is that it put them in the mindset that the Rochester Art Center is something worth sponsoring. And it wasn't just that exhibit, it was the institution, it was the people, it was the next exhibition, it was the next one after that, and there's going to be more. That these companies, these institutions around town know this is worth doing. If anybody had showed up to the opening of the event back in January, they would have seen there that we were able to bring in a lot of people and make a lot of people excited about the arts. So those sponsorships really, again, have that sort of reciprocal growth quality to them. Grants are always going to be an essential, necessary element. Any nonprofit organization needs grants. We need to continue to look for new funding streams because we have certain funding streams that McKnight we thought was stable forever. They changed their direction. So we need some new ones, and we just need to continue doing that. So that's a very, very crucial piece. Growing membership. And again, we were saying, and Shell's going to get all those dollars coming in with new members, and new members means maybe there's some donor dollars there, maybe there's some endowment dollars there. We can build and build and build on the people who actually come through the door and get excited about this institution. So I'm just thrilled about that. And lastly, just wanted to show some gratitude to the many organizations in the community, starting with the City of Rochester, as I said, a very, very important pillar in our stability, but also Mayo Clinic, and the University of Minnesota. I mentioned NUS Trucking, Think Bank. So a number of sponsors, a number of corporate donors and other donors who have been really critical and really just fantastic partners as well. I think they're just engaged, and that's what we just want to keep doing. The thing that excites me the most is that we're part of the community. And so when you see Saturday afternoon programming and you see now Winter Arts Day Camp, the more opportunity that we have to open our doors to the community, the better off we are and the better off the community. And I think the one thing too about what Rose talked about with our retreat was, we also want to engage in the community. And I'm excited about that. And I think that's going to make us a stronger institution as well, because we're going to go outside these walls and do some partnerships and get engaged with what's going on culturally throughout the rest of the area. So that's just very exciting. So again, I'd like to say that we're on really good footing, and I'm really looking forward to the next couple of years because I think we'll keep doing great. Do you want to do questions right now?
I just want to make a comment about the marketing. I'm a 40-year vocational educator, NAMI trained nationally, first-year teacher moving out to Southeast Minnesota, and making sure that we're getting all the schools involved for the arts, not just Rochester, but the Rochester area schools. And I just want to thank you. And with the marketing, they were at the STEAM Summit this 2 weeks ago, was it? Tuesday, and promoting art education in the sciences with the whole Destination Medical Center getting vocational, occupational, American home, economics education, extension and community services, youth development out to Southeast Minnesota with agronomics. And that whole marketing and how they're moving forward with Rochester Ready and bringing internationally, bringing people here, I just think is just really exciting.
I'll just say, we have, if you look at that teeny tiny expenses wedge for advertising, we just don't put a lot of money into advertising, but I want to thank the staff because there's just a lot of people, and board members too, who are just showing up at these booths and being present in the community, and it's the sort of the people power of being out there that is really helping us to market this organization and get out there and help people get in the door. So,
and being a part of the Rochester area, and they put on the STEAM Summit, and being involved in putting that gold mural together, and wearing the corn cob proudly for all our farmer markets and all the displays for small businesses, which I'm promoting to the Capital 211-911-988 with the whole NAMI piece and health and wellness. I just think you're headed in the right direction, and when Pam came to, her comment was, I'm going to make sure that all 4 floors are always filled, you know, and I think that's one of our greatest assets is the excitability for this community of the people that are doing the work to put this together, and you saw that line going up, and that's awesome. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
For sharing that information. So what I'd like to do next is just share some brief updates on our current board membership, and starting by thanking this year's outgoing board members, Demetrius Knock Johnson, Elena Janetti, and Brian Dukershin. We thank each of them for the time and talents that they have contributed to further the Art Center's mission and to participate with us on the board. John had mentioned Brian's involvement in an exhibition last year, and wanted to additionally express special recognition to Brian, who not only served for multiple years as secretary for our board, but also served as that catalyst for last year's high-profile, incredibly well-intended Homecoming Queen exhibition. Brian contributed innumerable hours and unfailing energy to that exhibition's success, and our sincere thanks to him for that work and his participation with us. In recent months, we've welcomed several new members to our board of directors. I would like to ask them to either stand or raise your hands, whatever you're comfortable with, to be recognized and welcomed. Dave Morris. Paula Eichmann. Galen Lavore. And Audrey Alibetti.
Either way.
We welcome and thank all of you for joining our board, and we're looking forward to the year ahead. I'd also like to highlight our full board, asking in particular Alex Maya, our board vice president, and Ale de la Puente, our board secretary, to please stand or raise your hands to be recognized. And if the rest of our board would please either stand or raise your hand. I'm just really honored to get to be part of this great group. I really do appreciate all of the different perspectives, the cohesive collaboration, and the active input that each of you bring to our work together for the Rochester Arts Center. With that, everyone, congratulations. We have made it to our last agenda item. So I'll be opening up the floor for any additional questions about the updates that were shared tonight at this time. Any questions, additional comments or questions for myself or Pam or John? Amy.
I just wanted to acknowledge two visitor here tonight who represents the RDA, the Rochester Downtown Alliance, and we are so grateful to the Alliance's support in marketing and helping us with funding. Every seasonal holiday, they're out there, they're putting on great downtown community events, and as a grant recipient in past years for those events, I just want to say I'm very grateful to that organization as well.
I very much do appreciate the collaborations with so many organizations in the community, and I 100% agree that RDA has a huge impact and creates amazing opportunities for the Arts Center to participate in outreach and engagement with the community. All right, with that, we have reached the end of our meeting time. I would like to invite everyone to stay for a special performance. We're hosting local musician Vivian Lark, who is kindly joining us this evening to perform. Vivian has been singing and playing piano since she was 7. She attended DePaul University School of Music and Columbia College of Chicago, Illinois for voice performance, where she participated in an opera chorus, a funk band, and a vocal jazz quartet. After Chicago, Vivian moved to New York City, where she performed at the world-famous Apollo Theater. Then it was on to Minneapolis, where she taught general education for over 20 years, which later expanded to piano and voice lessons. In 2017, she and her family moved here to beautiful Rochester, where she is currently teaching music as well as writing and performing her own music with the help of many talented local artists. Vivian started a charity organization in 2020, Music Lessons for All, that sponsors Rochester area youth for music lessons who might not otherwise have access. And for more information, you can see her contact information here. So welcome, Vivian. We're excited for that performance. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this annual meeting of the members of the Rochester Art Center. Brett, John, double second to that motion. So all in favor, please signify by leaving your seats and enjoying the music and exploring the galleries. Thank you all so much.